Allah sees what you're not saying. You miss them more than you want to admit. You try to focus, you try to move on, but their presence lives in the quiet spaces of your day, in your thoughts, in your hopes, in the way your heart skips when you remember a moment or a smile or even a dream that never got a chance to start. You keep wondering, why am I still holding on? You ask yourself, what's wrong with me? But nothing's wrong with you. You're just carrying something heavy, something silent. And that kind of weight isn't easy to show. Not to your friends, not to your family, not even in your du'as. Sometimes you feel like saying it out loud would make it too real. So instead you just sit with the feeling and let it stay quiet. But the truth is, nothing is ever truly hidden. Allah sees you. He sees the way you try to stay strong. He sees how often you think about them, even when you don't want to. He hears the things you don't say out loud. He reads the emotions behind your silence, behind your sighs, behind your long pauses when you're alone. And here's what you need to understand. This feeling you have, it doesn't surprise him. It doesn't annoy him. It doesn't make him turn away. In fact, it brings you closer to him, if you let it. Because Allah doesn't just want to be part of your prayers when you're asking for guidance or forgiveness. He wants to be part of your emotions too. He wants you to bring him your confusion, your longing, your ache, your hope. Even this craving, the one you don't talk about, is part of the journey he's watching over. You may not see the wisdom behind it yet. You may not understand why it's so strong, but Allah does. He's not punishing you by letting you feel this way. He's not ignoring your heart. He's using this very feeling to reach you in a deeper way. Sometimes the things we hide are the very things Allah wants us to heal, and He's waiting for you, not to fix it on your own, but to trust Him with it. To say, Ya Allah, I don't know what to do with this, but I know you do. That's where everything begins to change. Not always by removing the feeling right away, but by showing you that you're not alone with it, by reminding you that even this quiet longing has a purpose, and it's leading you somewhere beautiful, even if you can't see it yet. You're not weak, you're human. Craving someone doesn't make you weak. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean you're emotionally unstable or lacking faith. It means you have a heart that's alive, a heart that longs, that hopes, that wants to feel seen, understood and loved. And that is part of how Allah created you. You were designed to love. You were created with the ability to feel deeply, to form bonds, to attach. So when you meet someone who makes you feel safe or special or important, it's natural for your heart to respond. It's not a flaw, it's part of being human. And let's be honest, we all want to feel close to someone. We want to feel like we matter to someone. We want to feel chosen. That's not wrong, it's real. But where it begins to hurt is when that desire becomes the center of your life, when your peace starts depending on their replies, when your mood rises and falls based on whether they notice you or not. That's when the line quietly shifts. It's not love that breaks us, it's putting a human being in the place of Allah. Because your heart, though it's capable of love, was never built to depend on anyone more than its creator. And when that dependence tilts too far towards someone else, things begin to feel unstable. You start feeling worried all the time, even when nothing is wrong. You overthink every little thing. You imagine losing them, even if they haven't left. You replay moments in your mind, wondering if you said the right thing, did too much or not enough. That's not peace. That's pressure. That's the heart carrying a weight it wasn't designed to bear. Because no matter how beautiful, kind or loving someone is, they can't give your soul the stillness that only Allah can give. They can comfort you, but they can't complete you. They can support you, but they can't save you. They can care for you, but they can't carry your heart the way your Creator can. And when you try to fill that spiritual space with someone else, it never quite fits. You feel temporary happiness, followed by waves of fear and doubt. You feel good one moment, then restless the next. Because deep down, your heart knows something is off. It's not that you shouldn't love. It's not that you're wrong for feeling drawn to someone. But when love becomes the foundation instead of a blessing, it begins to shake everything in your life. And that's why your heart feels heavy. Not because you're weak or too emotional, but because your heart is carrying a burden it was never meant to carry alone. It's Allah's quiet way of calling you back, of reminding you, let me be your anchor, let me be your source of peace. He's not saying don't love. He's saying don't let your love for someone else be louder than your connection to Him. Because when you return your heart to Allah, you don't lose the ability to love. You gain the strength to love in a way that's healthy, peaceful and pure, a way that doesn't drain you, a way that doesn't make you question your worth, a way that doesn't revolve around fear of losing someone, but revolves around trust in the one who never leaves. So if your heart feels unstable, anxious or tired, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that your heart is gently calling you home, back to balance, back to peace, back to Allah. What you're really looking for. You keep thinking, if I could just be with this person, everything would feel right. You imagine how different life would be if they were beside you, how the anxiety would fade, how your heart would finally feel at rest. In your mind, their presence feels like the answer to everything you're missing. The loneliness would go, the emptiness would fill, the aching silence in your heart would be replaced with the comfort of someone who sees you, holds space for you, and stays. It's not that you're being unrealistic. You just want something real. You want to feel safe. You want to feel chosen. You want to be loved in a way that doesn't feel temporary or uncertain. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. That desire is part of your fitrah, the natural need Allah placed in you to connect, to belong, to be seen. But what if what you're really chasing isn't the person, but the feeling you think they'll give you? What if it's not about their face or their voice or even their love, but about the peace you believe will come with them? You see, sometimes we think we're craving a person, but we're actually craving a feeling that we believe only they can give us. A sense of calm, a sense of worth, a place to rest from the overthinking, a break from feeling invisible. But here's the truth that's so easy to forget. No human being, no matter how wonderful, can give you permanent peace. Not because they don't love you, not because you're not worthy, but because they are not built to carry the weight of your soul. People get tired, they misunderstand, they disappoint. They show up one day and drift away the next. Even the ones with the best intentions sometimes fail to see your depth, and sometimes they simply can't handle your storms. But Allah never changes. He never grows tired of your tears. He never turns away when your heart is heavy. He never looks at your pain and says, "That's too much." He never forgets to show up. And that's what your heart has been needing all along. Not just someone who stays, but someone who understands you even when you don't have words. Not just someone who sees you, but someone who sees the version of you that's still growing, still struggling, still unsure, and loves you anyway. That's what Allah does. He sees you in your silence. He sits with you in your chaos. And He offers a peace that doesn't depend on who stays or who leaves. So if this love you feel is starting to distract you from your prayers, if you've begun to crave their attention more than your connection to Allah, if you feel like you can't breathe unless they notice you, reply to you, or choose you, then stop. Not because your love is wrong, but because it's becoming a trap. Love that pulls you away from your Lord is not a blessing, it's a test. And Allah, in His mercy, may allow your heart to break so you can remember where healing truly comes from. He may close a door, not because he's cruel, but because he's trying to open a better one that leads to peace that doesn't shatter, love that doesn't confuse, security that doesn't depend on someone staying. Allah is not asking you to stop loving. He's asking you to come back to the one who created love in the first place. Because peace doesn't come from being chosen by a human being. It comes from knowing, deep in your soul, that you were already chosen by Allah, chosen to be guided, chosen to be held, chosen to be protected, even when your heart doesn't understand why. So if you're hurting right now, if the craving feels too much, pause, look higher, because what your heart is truly searching for was never in someone's hands. It was always in Allah's. This feeling has a purpose. You didn't ask for this feeling, you didn't go searching for it. It found you. Slowly at first, like a whisper, a glance that lingered too long, a conversation that echoed in your mind days later, and then suddenly it was just there, alive in your heart, taking up space in your thoughts, showing up in your prayers even when you didn't mean to include it. And now it feels like it won't leave. You think about them when you wake up. You picture futures in your mind that haven't even happened. You wonder what it would be like to be with them, to be seen by them, to be loved by them. And at the same time, you feel this tightness in your chest, because as much as you want it, you don't know what to do with it. You're asking yourself the same question over and over again. Why do I feel this so strongly? Why now? Why them? What does this mean? But what if this isn't just a random emotion? What if this craving has a purpose that goes deeper than the surface? What if Allah allowed this feeling, this attachment, this connection, this ache, not to break you, but to build you? What if this isn't a distraction pulling you away from your path, but a divine doorway, opening up a space inside of you that you've been ignoring? You see, we often assume that emotions are either helpful or harmful, that they're either from Allah or something to run away from, but sometimes the emotions that confuse us the most are the ones that bring us face to face with our deepest needs. And Allah knows that. He knows how to reach you. He knows what will shake your soul in just the right way to bring you back to Him. And sometimes it's not through pain alone. It's through longing. Longing for someone you don't have. Longing for love that feels just out of reach. Longing to be chosen in a world where you often feel invisible. Allah sees that longing, and He doesn't ignore it. He uses it. Because when everything is going well, when life feels full, when your heart is busy with people, you forget how much you need Him. You forget what it feels like to whisper His name with desperation, to cry not just from pain, but from depth, to kneel down not because it's prayer time, but because you have nowhere else to go. And so He places something inside you, something strong, something heavy, a love you didn't ask for, a craving you didn't choose. And it stirs you, it shakes you, it strips you of your illusion of control, until finally you turn to Him, not out of habit, but out of need. That's not punishment, that's invitation, that's mercy in disguise. Allah doesn't waste feelings, not even the painful ones, not even the ones you wish you could turn off. He placed this in your heart for a reason, to wake you up, to redirect your soul, to remind you that your emotions aren't here just to overwhelm you, they're here to guide you. So instead of asking, why do I feel this? Start asking, what is this feeling trying to teach me about myself, about Allah, about what I truly need? Maybe this craving isn't here to lead you to that person. Maybe it's here to lead you to yourself, to the parts of your heart that need healing, to the parts of your faith that need rebuilding, to the depth of dua you've never reached before. Because yes, sometimes it takes a love you can't have to teach you about the one love you can never lose. Sometimes it takes a silence from someone to hear Allah's voice more clearly. Sometimes it takes a shattered expectation to discover a kind of peace that no person could ever give you. This isn't just a test, it's a chance, a divine opportunity to turn your ache into worship, to turn your restlessness into remembrance, to take the thing that hurts and hold it out to Allah with open, trembling hands and say, Ya Allah, I don't understand this feeling, but I trust that you do, and I trust you with it. And in that moment, not when the craving goes away, but when you hand it over, the healing begins. Not just the healing of your emotions, but the healing of your soul. Allah wants to heal, not hurt you. It's so easy in the middle of all this longing to believe you've done something wrong. You start to overthink. You replay everything in your mind, what you said, what you felt, what you prayed for. You start to wonder if this ache in your heart, this silence, this unanswered craving is a sign that Allah is displeased with you. You think, maybe I crossed a line. Maybe this feeling is too much. Maybe I'm not worthy of being loved the way I hope to be. And slowly, quietly, you begin to believe that this is a punishment. But stop, just pause. That voice in your head, the one that says you're too much, too emotional, too attached, it's not the voice of your Lord. Because Allah does not shame His servants when they feel. He created your emotions. He gave you that heart, soft, vulnerable, full of desire. And He doesn't blame you for having it. You are not being punished. You are being protected. Protected from a kind of love that may have looked beautiful, but would have left you empty. Protected from someone who, no matter how charming or kind, was not equipped to carry the depth of your heart. Protected from timing that wasn't meant to grow you, only shake you. Sometimes the pain you feel when love slips away is not rejection, it's redirection. It's Allah gently pulling you away from what would have slowly broken you, even if you couldn't see it yet. You see, not all love is healing. Some love looks like light, but only blinds you. It fills your thoughts, but empties your spirit. It makes you feel like you're always waiting, always proving, always not enough. And Allah, in His mercy, doesn't want that for you. He doesn't want you chasing someone who keeps running. He doesn't want your worth to be tied to someone else's attention. He doesn't want you praying only for someone while forgetting to pray for yourself. He's not taking love away from you. He's trying to purify your heart, to remove the kind of love that makes you doubt yourself, that makes you feel anxious more than safe, that causes you to forget your purpose. Because real love, the kind Allah blesses, it doesn't pull you away from Him. It doesn't distract you from your prayers. It doesn't make you question your identity. It draws you closer to your faith. It deepens your character. It gives you peace that isn't built on whether someone texts you back or stays in your life. The right love, the one that is truly meant for you, will never ask you to shrink yourself. It will never lead you to sin. It will never make you beg to feel seen. Instead, it will remind you of who you are, a servant of the Most Merciful, a soul worthy of love that doesn't confuse, doesn't exhaust, doesn't chain, a believer who can stand in sujood and say, Ya Allah, you are enough for me. And here's the secret. That kind of love doesn't begin when someone finally chooses you. It begins the moment you remember that Allah already has. He wants you to be whole. He wants your heart to feel light again, not because someone walked into your life, but because you finally made space for Him in the center of your heart. He wants your peace to be unshakable, so that no matter who comes or who goes, you don't break, you don't beg, you don't lose yourself. So no, this isn't punishment, This ache you feel isn't proof that Allah is upset with you. It's proof that He loves you too much to let you settle for something that would have slowly drained you. It's mercy. It's protection. It's Allah whispering, "What you're holding on to is not your healing. Let me give you better." And when Allah says better, He doesn't mean more exciting. He means more peaceful, more real, more rooted in Him. Because when your heart is full of Allah, whether someone stays or leaves, you are still standing, still whole, still loved, still enough. What to do with the craving? This craving, it lingers. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't follow your schedule. Some days it's gentle, a soft ache like a quiet memory brushing against your chest. Other days it crashes over you like a wave, from the moment you open your eyes until the night leaves you staring at the ceiling, wondering why it still won't go away. You've tried to distract yourself. You've tried to pray it out of your heart, cry it out of your system, push it out of your thoughts. But it stays. And with it comes all the questions. Is this real love? Is this a sign? Or am I just trapped in my own feelings, chasing someone who was never mine to begin with? And in between the hope and the confusion, your heart sits quietly in a place that feels stuck, not fully holding on, but not ready to let go either. It's a strange place to be, and maybe you've begun to believe that you have to figure it all out on your own. Maybe you think, when I feel better, I'll talk to Allah. When I know what to do, then I'll turn to Him. But that's not how mercy works. Allah doesn't wait for your emotions to be tidy. He doesn't need you to present a clean, composed version of yourself before He listens. He wants your heart now, exactly as it is, in the chaos, in the craving, in the mess, because He is the one who created your heart in the first place. He already knows what it holds, the longing, the uncertainty, the ache, the endless thoughts about what could have been. He knows it all, and He doesn't turn away from you because of it. He's not disappointed in you for feeling this. He's not annoyed that you keep returning to the same emotion over and over. He is patient, infinitely patient, and He is waiting, not for you to be stronger, but for you to be real. You don't have to wait for the craving to pass. You don't have to pretend it doesn't exist. You don't have to apologize for having a heart that feels too much. You just have to hand it over. Say, "Ya Allah, I don't know why I feel this so deeply, but you do, and I can't carry it anymore, so I leave it with you." That moment, that small, quiet act of surrender, is one of the most powerful forms of worship, because it's honest, because it's raw, because it's trust in its purest form. You don't need to numb the feeling. You don't need to keep checking your phone hoping they'll say something that heals you. You don't need to look for closure in someone who may never fully understand the weight of what you're carrying. You need something deeper than closure. You need connection, not with them, with Allah. Because when you stop running to people for answers and start turning to the one who created those emotions, your heart begins to shift. Your craving no longer controls you. It starts to soften, and little by little, your pain becomes your prayer. It's no longer just about wanting them. It becomes about wanting peace, wanting to breathe again, wanting your heart to rest in something that won't collapse underneath you. And that's where Allah meets you, not with blame, not with punishment, but with peace. He may give you what you asked for, that person, that relationship, but in a way that's clean, pure, and timed with wisdom, not rushed by emotion, not tangled in anxiety, but covered in barakah, or He may give you something even more beautiful, a stillness so deep, so strong, that you no longer ache for what you once chased, a sense of worth that no one else has to validate, a closeness to Him that outlasts any temporary attention. And that's not the end of love. That's the beginning of trust. That's what it means to be healed from within. Because the truth is, you don't lose anything by giving your heart to Allah. You don't miss out by letting go of what's pulling you away from Him. You don't fall apart when you choose His plan over your craving. You make room for what's pure, room for what's right, room for what's truly meant for you. So take a deep breath. Let your heart rest for a moment. Allah knows what's inside it. He sees your struggle, your hope, your quiet tears, and He promises, I will never leave you without something better. Not always what you expected, but always what your soul truly needed. Let this be the moment you surrender. Let this be the moment you finally stop pretending you're fine when you're not. The moment you stop wearing strength like armor, when inside you're tired. Tired of overthinking, tired of wondering if they care, tired of holding on to something that's slowly draining your energy, your peace, your focus, your faith. You are not weak for feeling this deeply. You are not broken because you still think about them, even after trying so hard to let go. You are not foolish for having a soft heart in a world that taught you to be numb. You're not behind. You're not hopeless. You're just human, with a heart that wants to feel whole again. And Allah sees that. He sees how hard you've been trying to suppress the feelings, trying to distract your heart, trying to act like it doesn't hurt as much as it does. And in the middle of all that effort, He's gently waiting for you to realize something powerful. You were never meant to carry this alone. You were never meant to keep solving what your soul doesn't understand. You were never meant to fill every silence with someone's voice just to feel safe. You were never meant to use someone else's love to cover the cracks only Allah was meant to heal. There's a part of you right now that's exhausted, not because you're too emotional, but because you've been trying to fill your heart with something it was never designed to hold on its own. And that's why this moment matters so much. Let this be the moment you stop running in circles around someone else's absence. The moment you stop trying to decode mixed signals, confusing silences, or emotional distance. The moment you stop tying your peace to their response, or your value to whether they stay. Let this be the moment you stop arguing with your heart and start trusting the one who created it. Because Allah never asked you to be numb. He never asked you to act like it doesn't hurt. He asked you to bring it to Him, to surrender what feels too heavy, to admit what's hard to say, to fall into sujood and whisper, Ya Allah, I leave this with you. I don't want to keep chasing. I don't want to keep breaking. I just want to be okay again. That is surrender, not weakness, not failure, but strength, the kind that says, I don't have to carry this anymore. My Lord will. Because the one who created love also created healing, and He never gives you one without offering the other. If He let you feel this much, it's because He wants to use it to lead you to something even greater, even if that something starts with letting go. And when you do let go, not with bitterness, not with regret, but with faith, you don't fall apart, you rise. Because Allah holds the hearts of those who trust Him. He doesn't just replace what you let go of. He transforms your emptiness into contentment, your confusion into clarity, your waiting into worship. So place your heart in Allah's hands, not theirs, not the memory, not your own thoughts that won't stop spinning, just His. And then, just breathe, because something shifts the moment you give your heart back to the one who made it. And in that sacred surrender, you'll find something you've been searching for all along. Not just love, but peace. Not just closure, but closeness. Not just relief, but healing. If this message touched something deep in your soul, don't scroll past it like it was just another reminder. Don't treat it like a momentary comfort, here for a second and gone the next. This wasn't random. It reached you for a reason. Maybe it found you in the middle of a silent struggle. Maybe it echoed the very thoughts you haven't said out loud. Maybe it gave words to a pain you've been carrying quietly for too long. And maybe it reminded you that your heart is still alive, still soft, still connected to something deeper than just the chaos of emotion. So before you let this moment slip away, pause, sit with it, reflect. Feel every word again, not just with your mind, but with your heart. And ask yourself why it made you feel something, why it brought tears to your eyes, or softness to your chest, or calmness to your breath. Because sometimes that reaction isn't just emotion, it's a sign, a whisper from Allah saying, "This was for you. You needed this today." But maybe it's not only for you. Maybe right now you know someone who has gone quiet, someone who seems distant, someone who smiles in front of others but breaks behind closed doors, someone who doesn't talk about what's weighing them down, but you can feel it. You can sense that they're carrying something heavy, even if they've never said a word. Maybe they're just like you. Maybe they're feeling the same thing, just in silence. And maybe Allah placed this message in your path, not just to comfort your heart, but to let you be the one who delivers it to someone else. Because healing doesn't always come through scholars or speeches. Sometimes it comes through friends, through strangers, through the quiet act of saying, "I thought of you when I read this. I hope it helps." You never know what battle someone is facing behind their calm voice. You never know who's on the verge of giving up, and you never know what simple reminder might be the thing that pulls them back toward hope. So if this message made you breathe a little easier, let it help someone else do the same. Be that light. Be that bridge. Be that quiet hand from afar that says, "I see you," and Allah sees you even more. Because sometimes the words that saved you are the exact words Allah wants to send through you to someone else who's silently asking, "Ya Allah, just give me a sign." And this might be it.